Andrew requested me on Patreon to review the Disney Channel original movie Geek Charming, and this is a film that I actually knew very little about before watching it. That can sometimes be a fun way to watch something, as you never know what to expect. While there were elements in this movie that I thought were interesting, I otherwise found it mostly underwhelming. Geek Charming did not exactly get off on the right foot when it introduces one of the main characters, Dylan. She is depicted as the stereotypical snooty popular girl of the school with her own annoying vocabulary, and I dreaded having to spend the next 90 minutes watching this character. However, as the movie plays on, it digs a little deeper into her, and we find out not long after introduction that this is just a facade she's put on. Sarah Hyland does a good job of depicting this secret personality and switching between that and her snooty girl persona. There's an emotional scene she has later that she particularly sells. I do find these depictions of high school that focus on the popular girls to be strange, because I don't remember this being a thing when I was in high school. There were certainly cliques and students who gravitated towards specific people, but the popular girls depicted in the movies is not something I ever encountered. Dylan has a rival in the popular girl arena, and through the whole movie I kept thinking how familiar she looked, and it turns out she was played by Andrew Brooks, who was Eve Tessmacher on the Supergirl television series. Anyway, the other main character is Josh, who decides to make a documentary about Dylan, and as expected, he eventually finds out her true identity and changes his mind about her. He, of course, falls in love with her, but I do not sense much in the way of chemistry between them, which hampers the scenes where they start connecting with each other. He's depicted as a cinephile, although it's not something they delve that much into outside of a few film references here and there. I certainly did not expect a Disney Channel original movie to have characters discuss Fritz Lang's Metropolis, along with showing a clip from it. There's also a part where Josh, his friends, and Dylan go to a screening of Flight the Navigator, which was a cute nod to an earlier Disney film. They even show the poster, although there is not a scene where they're actually in the theater watching the movie. There are some strange inconsistencies with how Dylan is written. She's shown to be extremely smart, and yet still does and says some airheaded things when not performing for the rest of the school. For example, she's depicted as someone who lets parking tickets pile up, and then when confronted by the man issuing them and taking her car away, she still acts in character as the popular girl. This grown man does not know who you are and is not voting for prom queen. Why are you acting like that with him? Even when talking to herself, she says silly things in her school persona. Regarding the other actors, I personally thought the standout of the cast was an actress named Casey Roll, who plays Caitlin, the token girl in Josh's film club friend group. She has maybe 5 minutes of screen time, but she gives the part her all and gets a few funny moments. Something I also appreciate is how Dylan's father's written. He's the super wealthy owner of the shopping mall, and he's depicted as a genuinely nice person who avoids spoiling his daughter too much. They could have easily had him be really snooty, but they did not go that route with him. There's not that much else to say about Geek Charming, to be perfectly honest. The aspect of this girl creating this entirely different personality for when she's at school or out in public is really interesting, and the film's at its best when exploring that. There's one moment where she invites the other popular students to a fancy sushi restaurant, but they would much rather have pizza, which highlights that this fake personality does not match with the reality of what these other popular kids are actually like. I feel like the entire film could have been just about Dylan and her arc. When it focuses on Josh's storyline and his documentary, that's mostly where the film loses me. Even the portions of the documentary we see near the end honestly did not even look that good. In the end, I found Geek Charming to be a fairly middle-of-the-road Disney Channel original movie. It's harmless enough, but hardly something that will stick with me after I've uploaded this review. Although here's an interesting piece of trivia I found out. The DVD for Geek Charming included as a bonus feature 10 episodes of the Disney Channel sitcom Shake It Up. I don't know why, as they don't share cast members. The only reason I can think of is they wanted to give Shake It Up fans an incentive to buy this DVD and help its sales. Anyway, what do you think of Geek Charming? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for the request, Andrew.